Hello everybody, and welcome back to another Zoo Tycoon video. Today we're going to be making the Reptile house, something that I've been really excited to get going just because it utilizes so many of the mods to really create something that I've never done in this game before, so I hope you enjoy. Here's kind of how it's going to work. We're just making the outline of the structure right now. It's going to have, I think in the end it's going to have 5 exhibits in it. One of which is going to stretch to the outside as well, simply because I want there to be a viewing platform on the right as well for guests to view from the outside of the reptile house as well as from the inside. So this larger one that we're making right now, that's the one that's going to stretch to the outside, and that is going to be a crocodile exhibit, a American alligator, whatever, the Nile crocodile I think is the exact naming. We may, if they get breeding and get a bunch of animals in there, we may knock them out, put in a different kind of crocodile, because there are a few different kinds in our game, just to kind of spice things up every once in a while. But right here we're making a little circle of exhibits, and it's going to have 2 exhibits in the middle. You're going to see me close them off right here, and that is going to be 2 different exhibits that we will then get in. Since most of the amphibians and reptiles are a little bit smaller in terms of their size, the smaller exhibits work to kind of show off the animal without them getting lost in any of the shrubs or anything around there. This exhibit that we're making right here doesn't actually have an animal in it yet in the zoo itself. I've filled in all the rest of the exhibits. You'll see that in the next video. I'll showcase that. But this exhibit doesn't have one yet. Basically because I'm going to put in a snake when we get a snake unlocked. I don't know what zoo level I have to be at for that, but when I figure that out, we will get that in there. But otherwise, we have the Nile crocodiles in the right. This exhibit that we're making right now-ish is Galapagos tortoises, which are pretty popular at the zoo right now, so I'm kind of happy about that. It's always cool having an extinct animal be, or not an extinct animal, but a very endangered animal be nice and showcased in the zoo. And then the 2 smaller exhibits, we have blue whip-tailed lizards in one of them, and they've already laid eggs and breeded a bunch, so there will be a bunch of them in there in the next episode, and I'll show that. And then this exhibit right here is poison dart frogs. And right now we only have 2 of them, the strawberry kind, but I want to get, I think we have 2 other kinds of dart frogs in the world via mods, so I want to get those as well. So right now I'm adding in the elevated platforms just to make these exhibits seem enclosed, but I wanted these 2 smaller ones to have a smaller sized roof, just kind of to showcase the animals in there being smaller. Then these other ones will just create the actual roof on the place, and give them a little larger exhibit. So I'm basically just going to put in the roof here. It's nothing too exciting. I love with the mods that you're able to not only make the buildings, but also you'll see that we're able to decorate the outside of the buildings a lot better. I downloaded, it's a rock pack. I don't quite remember who made it exactly, but it allows us to put these giant rocks outside of our reptile house, and they end up looking really nice in terms of just a decoration piece. They do nothing other than that, and hopefully in an exhibit eventually we can utilize them to really, I don't know, just add a little extra detail in an exhibit. But for right now, they look good as a detail outside. So let's get the path in here. I'm just kind of testing a couple paths right now, seeing which ones I like. I love the stone path, but we don't have it yet, so I'm just sticking with our concrete that we've been doing. If you didn't know, you can raise and lower the elevated platform viewing on the left side. And right now I'm just adding in a little extra detail on the inside, and this is actually going to backfire on me in a little bit, because I wanted to make this area on the right over there a food court. But the food stands don't have a tall enough headroom in order to be placed. So it ends up I have to knock out part of this little elevated place in this area over here just so we can actually place in these stands. But otherwise, it helped to add a little extra depth on the inside and gave it a little more detail on the inside when walking around. So right now I'm just adding in around the small exhibits we had, the wall very similar to the rest of the place, just so that it looks like the exhibits are still not just like boxes in the middle of the house, but rather a part of the building as a whole. And I'm doing the same with our little platform we did there, and you can kind of see, just by looking at it like so, that it kind of helps to jut out a little bit. I'm just adding in some posts here. Once again, a little extra detail. They really don't do anything besides make it seem like physics actually matters in this world, which, if any of you know Zoo Tycoon well, you'll know that physics really does not matter at all. So we're going to get the path in here, I think, finishing up the rest of the path. And the one thing that I do want to make here is a little tree exhibit type thing. Just as you walk in, just kind of, when you go to a zoo, there's always those areas that have just detailed plants and rocks and all kinds of stuff like that. So I wanted to do kind of those in different areas around the zoo. We already have some trees in other areas, like that tree right there in the kangaroo exhibit, but I wanted to do the same with the reptile house. But while the fence that I want is downloading, we will set up a little exhibit here, just putting in some plants, some rocks, 2 logs. I love those logs. And just getting this area looking nice, because that will be the outside of the crocodile viewing area. And then here you're going to see me utilize just a bunch of plants to kind of make the outside of the reptile house look nice. I'm going to end up using some of the rocks that I had downloaded, but then they have a really funky, like, aura around them that people bump into, and then the people start like spazzing out. So I end up getting rid of those when I'm walking into them, just because it felt really awkward. So here's me adding in our little tree exhibit, and this is going to be a pain in the rear to figure out where the ceiling is in order to make this right. So I'm actually going to just basically delete a bunch of the area and then just play with this for a while, and it's a little bit annoying. I apologize. We can talk about happy thoughts, like the fact that so far, it looks like we're going to have emperor penguins in our zoo the next time around. But if you would like to possibly change that viewing, check the comment or description down below. There's a link to a straw poll where you can vote for what animal you would like to be in the zoo in the next episode. So right now you can kind of see where I was way off on where I thought the thing actually was. And the way that I'm actually going to end up doing this is just putting in the trees and then building the path around them. And that ends up working a lot better. And the reason I'm doing this is just to add a little bit of extra texture to the roof, because we will end up adding a skylight in afterward, just kind of to showcase a little bit of extra depth in the place. Meanwhile, basically all of our animals have gotten pregnant and given birth like 400 times. I've released some of the bongos into the wild. I've released a couple of the Arabian horses into the wild, just because I don't want those exhibits to become overcrowded. While I do have the hack on that makes it where the animals don't need the like exact exhibit or biome, and also don't need the exact space as usual, I still want them to have like adequate space. I don't want 400 horses in a tiny area. It just doesn't look right. We want to make sure that we're still making this as realistic as we can. So you can see here that I finally figured out how to make this area so that the trees don't look stupid, but it still is a little bit off in the way that it goes. So I'm going to end up fixing that just by getting rid of some of the platforms here and fixing it up, adding in our skylight to make it look nice, and then just putting the roof onto that to simply make it stand out as an actual skylight. I like this design a lot. I've seen it done in other zoos that I have seen that have mods installed on them, and I just think that it looks really, really nice. So that's that. You honestly can't really see it from down below, but inside there's a little glimpse that you can see it inside. So I got rid of these trees. basically because they just didn't look good. And then I'm going to add in some different ones here to make it really stand out. I wanted to do the Kapok tree, the jungle Kapok tree, but I didn't have it unlocked yet, so I couldn't put it in. So instead we have this one, and I actually think that this one looks pretty nice. It's not incredible, but it just gives it a nice little detail inside. And it's also a wetland tree, which works because we have the crocodiles in there already. So I kind of like how that ended up working out. I think we will in the next episode expand to the other side of the zoo, just because we've kind of been working hardcore in the right side of the zoo if you're going as when you walk in, and I want to make sure that we're spreading out the zoo all the way around, just so that we're getting an equal amount of people going in all directions, and that will then help to raise funds in the zoo and also raise our popularity as we add more animals, more exhibits, etc, etc, etc. So I'm pretty excited. I think we're going to do, if it is in fact the penguins that we're going to make in the next episode, I think we're going to make a tundra themed area on the other side. And I've already got some ideas rolling through my head on how exactly we're going to do that. So I am pretty excited about it. So I'm just adding in some fence gates for the zookeepers to walk in different areas. And then here I'm just trying to decline adoptions, trying to get the crocodile to pop up so that we can get his exhibit going. And then this is where I start to try to put in our food court and realize, oh crap, we don't have enough headroom to do this. And that's going to become a bit of a problem. We got some angry guests, but it's nothing too phenomenal. This was kind of just my take a break, check things out, how are things going, look around. Oh, our people really need entertainment. So then I'm looking around, I'm like, okay, what can we put in for entertainment? What about some fountains? So I'm researching fountains and drinking fountains, just because drinking fountains are good for raising, well, not raising, but getting rid of the thirst on some people. And then I'm just looking at some arches that we can put in different areas to make the chance at having people be a little bit happier in the entertainment department. We've kind of been using up a lot of the area for other things like exhibits and stuff like that. So I wanted to put in some extra stuff. Right there I'm adding in the mineral deposit, just hoping people maybe see it when looking at the kangaroos and they get entertained by looking at some rocks. I don't know, that people are weird. But once again, just looking at random stuff, I'm seeing the small fountain. I want to put a couple of those in. Those Taj Mahal-y type buildings, I'm struggling to want to put in anywhere. But I see this alligator or crocodile fountain, and I'm like, okay, this could totally go over here somewhere. But we end up putting it on the inside of the reptile house instead, just because it looks nice there. So I'm looking at buildings, I go, oh, a discovery kiosk. That's the perfect thing for people to go up to, learn a little bit, and be entertained by. Once again, just cleaning up a little extra path. And then I want to add in a second door over here as well, which will help us design the outside as well, but also just give people another place to enter in. So this is where we're grabbing our giant rocks that I downloaded. You can see how nice they actually are, and they're real easy to work with and real easy to decorate. And then I just wanted to put some plants on the underside of it, just to kind of make it look nice if you were to be walking by it. As much as that stuff really doesn't matter in terms of your zoo, because looking at rocks and looking at plants, guests don't really care. But I like just making the zoo look as realistic as possible, making it look like it is legitimately an actual zoo. Most zoos wouldn't just have, you know, here's an exhibit, here's an exhibit, here's an exhibit. They'd have all kinds of detail and decoration and plants and trees and all kinds of stuff. So we found our Galapagos tortoise, and this is where I'm like, oh, okay, that is the perfect animal to put in here. So we're just going to set up his exhibit real quick. Sadly, none of the scrub trees can fit in this biome, or in this reptile house, apparently. So I wanted to utilize a bunch of the plants instead. So we're adding in some water for the tortoises. Obviously, Galapagos tortoises don't, you know, spend their entire day in water, but I like still having water in the exhibits just to kind of break up land and the people, really, because you're going to see with the alligator exhibit as well, I'm going to have water on the border of the glass just to make it a little bit nicer. So I'm just adding in some plants around here, wanting to make sure that this exhibit looks like it is suitable for our Galapagos tortoises. Adding in some cactus, some other plants in here, just to make it look full and ready for these guys to come in. I love that Arabian Nights umbrella. I hate that normal umbrella that's in the game. So I was really happy to see that there's a different one that actually looks really nice. The colors are super good on it, and it works really well. So we're adding in our zookeepers here. I got 2 of them to man 4 exhibits. I figured that that is plenty of people for those exhibits. And then I just started to decorate the outside of these with some benches and some other stuff, just because I realized that people are going to start walking in here because there are animals in this exhibit. So it was kind of a get it going. We won some kind of challenge. I think it was a donation related challenge, or there was another one where you had to keep people well rested. That's so that nobody ever had like critical of the sitting stat, which was really easy. We have benches and picnic tables and all kinds of stuff all over our zoo, so there was no way anybody was going to reach a critical level there. We now have the drinking fountains, so we can put in some of those, and those are really nice because they're cheaper than a full-on like water stand and take up less space, and we can kind of put them in all kinds of locations. I do want to note real quick, we took like a huge crap on our funds in this episode, but that's something that I'm okay with. This is why I restarted our zoo and put in a lot more money this time, because I knew that we were going to do these kind of cool decoration buildings and just extra designs in this area, so I wanted to give us more funds in order to do that. So right now we're setting up the crocodile exhibit. I'm just going to fill the entire thing with land first, and then we're going to work in the water. And I want to give these guys a lot of water. Crocodiles spend a lot of time in water. A realistic wetlands biome would have a lot of water in it because it's a wetlands. Wet water. Water is in fact wet, for those of you that did not know. I know, it's a shocker. I was surprised too. But the wetlands trees can fit in here on the inside as well, which is going to look really cool for it when we go on the inside and check it out. But I'm just adding in a little bit of extra land here for the crocodiles to go in. More challenges. We're just getting a ton of them. A lot of them involve setting up shows with the marine animals, and I'm just not... I was never into that before, and I likely won't be into it here. I want the marine animals eventually. We'll have a whole area for them, but I don't want to do a show quite yet, and possibly never, but we'll see. It could be fun to spend an episode doing that. So these trees can go in water, which ends up looking really nice, and then I'm just throwing in some extra stuff for these guys, plants, rocks, enrichment, just getting the place going. We finally have guests entering the reptile house, which I am real excited about. I was a little bit afraid at first that people may not go in there, or I don't even know, but they did, and it's fine. This is where I realized, oh crap, we can't place these in here, so I end up having to go in and delete out these elevated platforms in here so that we can fit in our food stands and get people spending some money in the reptile house, but also making sure that they're satisfied in terms of their hunger and thirst and all that. So it still acts a little bit funky. We can't, for some reason, place something right there. I looked all around for the longest time trying to figure out why I couldn't place that there. And there's going to be another place right over here that is the exact same way. But if you have any idea why that wouldn't place there, please tell me, because I'm a little bit confused by it. I tried flattening the land, I tried a bunch of things, but it didn't want to place stuff in there. And you know what? That's fine. We'll just space out these stupid things and call it a day. So we're going to be wrapping up this episode here. If you enjoyed making the reptile house, let me know in the comments below, or wherever you see this video. I've been posting it in a couple different locations, just trying to get some views known here. But make sure you vote down below on what animal you would like to see in the next episode. We'll do polls in the videos that are not... the polls will be for live comm videos, because we're doing alternating between live comm and not live comm, talk over like I am right now. So we will take care of what is done in the polls in the live com videos. So that's kind of how that's going to go. If you enjoyed, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.